What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Schilling N Stunna podcast. Today we will be hitting you with the preview of the Week 3 game at the Meadowlands against the New York Giants. Coming off of a upset victory as 7.5-point home dogs, we take out the AFC champions. That was a fun game, but on to the next.
Yeah,
What
let's go.
worries you about this game and what excites you about this game, bro?
I'm not too worried about it at all, man. I think just kind of looking back at the Giants film, I will say they are a team that plays hard for their coach. Definitely a scrappy team, but they play hard. But it is a team that still lacks a lot of talent and a lot of things that I think we can exploit, man. So it's a lot of matchups I want to dive deep into. And I just think from the standpoint of seeing Cooper Rush, just wondering how that would go. I think he looked comfortable. He was in a nice rhythm. It looks like Kellen Moore kind of is catering to that. We playing to the strength of our defense, and as long as we do that, man, I'm feeling good going into this next week.
I
How you
agree
feeling?
too. I think they have a phenomenal coaching staff. With a horrible quarterback situation. So as long as they have Daniel Jones, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah,
They'll probably beat us here and there, as long as they have Daniel Jones, but it's not going to be like anything dominant, I don't think. But if what we did on defense to Cincinnati is real, they don't stand a chance. I think our keys to victory are stop the run, fill your gaps, stay home, stop trying to avoid blocks, Van Der Esch, get in there, hit the hole.
yeah,
Same thing with Trayvon. Trayvon sees a big body and bounces.
yeah, for sure.
We need to spy Daniel Jones as well. We can't let him loose and that's kind of what Jabril did in the last game.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, where any news on Jabril?
nothing. It's a
Nothing.
ghost town
Okay.
over there on the Jabril, man. Maybe they just taking a little slow with him, and then maybe as we get later into this year, they're gonna let him before go. But I do agree with your keys. Definitely, I think line one, first and foremost, I think you stop at Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it goes as he goes. You stop at Saquon, and then I think from there, I do like the idea of a spy on Daniel Jones, but I also like just I want to pressure him, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main thing, seeing the Giants game, them and the Panthers, I think the Panthers did a lot of like 3-man rushes. It was like either 3 guys or, one guy that was kind of sitting back and spying, but they was actually giving them time to go through his reads. I don't think you're going to get that with a Dan Quinn. I think we're going to mix some things up. I do see their offensive guards it's kind of like a little mess over there. One guy stands out to me, Andrew Thomas, but I think it's a lot of things. We running those stunts, those games. We send a Micah Parsons over there. I think it's a lot of things we could take advantage of as far as from a pass rusher standpoint. Put some pressure on.
I do think like I don't care about no Andrew Thomas. I think one-on-one
No.
with any lineman in the league, Micah wins. Like I'm not saying that to be funny. I think there's a few edge rushers in the league that can just stomp any lineman. And I think Micah's on that short list. I think too. So obviously shutting down Saquon is key. I'm not scared of those weapons over there. I have no fear in that. So I think as far as a spy is concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if they move like Donovan to the box and just have him
Yeah.
play rover the whole game. That way he can just drop in zone and keep his eyes on Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I like that. Daniel Jones, he's a quarterback who I think when he sits in the pocket, the more he sits back, the more answer he gets. You want to just contain him a little bit, keep him off the edge. I think when he gets to the edge and start moving around a little bit is where he's the most effective. But I think if we can contain him a little bit, and then we can contain it and just send a Michael Parsons in there, we'll still get some pressure. So
I
I
agree.
think just having that, the more times you make a Daniel Jones throw, let's say Saquon, the more chances we got to get some turnovers. So, and we haven't got many turnovers this year, so I think this is the week where we can finally, put an imprint on that side of the ball and get
I hope so.
get a ball back to our offense and help Cooper Rush out a little bit more this week.
Of course. What about key matchups? What matchups are you looking forward to this week?
Key matchups, I think first and foremost is that Micah Parsons and Andrew Thomas matchup. I do think Michael Parsons wins that matchup, obviously. But I do want to give a shout out to Andrew Thomas, man. It's been a complete flip this year. He's looked great. He's been their best lineman by far. I think that's a key matchup. And then I want to see those guys up front against Leonard Williams. Now, like when you think about it on the flip side, and I noticed their pass rush, it was pretty lackluster. Outside of them sending a rare blitz, everything, it wasn't really getting home, but Leonard Williams, he seemed to be that one guy that was, continuously pushing the pocket, and he was able to get home. Now, I don't want to say he got a sack, but it looked like he was pushing the pocket and getting some pressure. So outside of that, I want to see how these big boys hold up front. And anything stands out to me. I'm not, like I said, I'm not scared of receivers matchup wise, but I do want to see what type of spy you said. Like I want to see what type of role Donovan Wilson will play this week. I want to see if they gonna bring this Kadarius Toney matchup back in. I know it's a lot of hype, a lot of fans talking trash every time they talk about Trayvon Diggs. They be like, "What could Kadarius Toney do?" I'm willing to say that was trash. He made his plays, but Trayvon, we was beating the hell out of the Giants last year, man. Trayvon was backing up. I want to see that matchup and see if they send him out there early and see what I got to do.
My key matchups. Let me know if I'm wrong, but is Kayvon Thibodeau playing this week?
Nah, he's
not supposed to. Damn, I really wanted to see him up against Tyler Smith. My key matchup is going to be Wink Martindale and Kellen Moore. I think Wink is a much better coordinator than Kellen, but Kellen's got the better players in my opinion. So I just want to see like how we put up 3 touchdowns? Can we put up 28 points or something like that this week? That's what I want to see. Primetime game against a division rival. I don't think we blow them out. I don't think they blow us out. I think it's a close game. It's prime time. We got a backup quarterback. They got a backup quarterback. So
hopefully, I do like that matchup right there, and I want to see Kellen Moore take advantage of some of these linebackers and kind of run a game where we can get our playmakers and force their linebackers to play in space this week. I think that'll be big. I'm wondering how many shots we'll take downfield, but I do want to continue to see us force the run game. I think I'm heavy on the Zeke, heavy on the Tony Pollard this week.
I agree.
On CD would be all right. Schultz, I think Schultz will be out this week, though, so that's an adjustment. But I got faith in Jake Ferguson and those guys, man. I'm kind of excited to see what that'll look like as well.
I think, honestly, Ferguson's probably a better blocker than Schultz, whereas Schultz is the better receiver. So if anything, that might help us in the trenches. But before we get out of here, I did want to ask you, over under 3 snaps for Kenny Golladay this week. What are you taking?
Bro, I don't know, man. I heard rumors they might have cleared his lockout. I'm willing to bet under on that. I'm willing to bet, if anything, Michael Gallup might play more snaps than Golladay this week. That's how I take it.
It's crazy, too, because they paid that man so much money that they're so stuck with him. But it wasn't even this staff that did it. They're just stuck with this guy who
it's terrible, man.
Can't rise up the depth chart, and he's making like $25 million this year.
Yeah.
That's
to talk about some guys possible returning, like I just mentioned Michael Gallup, I'm hearing Schultz is leaving. Michael Gallup is trending towards playing this week. I think that's a good sight to see. Any news on Javon Curse?
No, I believe I don't even think he's practicing. No, I don't think he's been at practice.
Which is cool. So I think you have kind of like a similar situation on 3 different levels, right? So you have a Tyler Smith playing well, and it's kind of like you gauging like, do I bring a Jason Peters in, or do you leave? First, I want to start right there. Do you leave a Tyler Smith in, and does that stun his growth, or do you put your best 5 out there and you move Tyler Smith to guard and move Jason Peters in soon?
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't give up a sack at all last week.
No.
And they have Trey Hendrickson, who is a really good edge rusher.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Leonard Williams is probably close, like the same bubble. Like those two are probably similar, let's say, Madden ratings. I don't think we bring in Peters. I don't think it's panic mode to bring him in yet. Let these young guys keep getting the reps. Let him be a mentor on the sideline. Keep him there as a swing tackle, like we should have done in the first place. Because after week 1, it didn't look good. Week 2, it did. Maybe these guys clicked. I think now moving into week 3, 4, 5, we'll start seeing the compatibility line up on the offensive line. What about McGovern? Any news on that?
I think he had I believe it was a high ankle sprain. Usually that's whatever ranges to about 4 weeks. So yeah. I mean we are. Farniak is playing well, man. I like I said, I haven't heard a lot from him, which is good. So shout out to the offensive line, man. They've been stepping up. And I just want to say this, man. For Cowboy Nation, right? First 2 weeks of the season, right? We played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great offense. Played against Cincinnati with all those weapons. Great offense. We was able to hold both of those guys right around 20 points, man. 1 touchdown for both. You know what I mean? The defense is great. Now we get to go against some lesser offenses as we go a little deeper into the season. I believe we had the Giants. The Knicks. I don't know if the Eagles are the next week, but I think it's Giants, Rams, and Eagles, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds
So
right.
like outside of the Rams coming in there, but I'm confident in our defense, and that's what's going to be our driving force. So I'm willing to say this: the Giants don't really have a lot over there that scares me. We just got to stick to our game plan. I think the main thing we need to do is have time of possession, right? I want to see us pressure the quarterback, get some turnovers, and I don't want to call it keep away because I still want to take some shots. But let's go ahead and control the momentum, control the clock, control the tempo of this game, and I think we'll be in the win column this week.
I agree. Definitely the remedy is protect the ball, control the clock, and play outstanding defense. Yeah. And we're doing all those things. We played terrific defense last week, or I'm sorry, week 1.
Yeah,
our offense just wasn't there. So if the offense can do their part and just chip in a little, we'll be all right, especially down the stretch.
Truly, I think the same thing happened both times. I think the defense did a good job, like holding it down. And like the first game, obviously, the offense was just 3 and outs quick. They was going off the field too fast, and the defense got tired, and we gave up a touchdown. And I think the same thing kind of came back and reappeared in the Bengals game. Like we was attacking. I think we was playing to win in the first half, and then in the second half, we was more so playing not to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those guys the defense started getting tired. You see Mike all day, he's playing like 70 snaps. Some of those guys, they was getting tired, and they was able to get a touchdown there at the end. I think fatigue played a big part of that. But I think as long as you keep those guys fresh, man, we got a nice formula just to, stay consistent, man, and hold things down to Dak get back,
That's what, and I'm not saying we need to limit Micah's snaps, but we don't need to full-fledged send him like we have been. If we're doing well, like we need to preserve as much of that as possible for cold weather when the games start mattering a little more. Definitely I'm pumped for this game. I don't see where we lose or how we lose. I think we have the better roster even with Cooper Rush in there. I don't see a matchup that we can't win. I think we have the better backfield, better receivers, so we'll just see. I think it's more going to be a coaching battle.
Yeah. Just, like I said, contain Saquon, force Daniel Jones to throw, and the main thing, tackle. You know what I mean? They got these small, shifty guys, man. Limit the yak, and we're going to be up. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's my final word.